And we are back with the first game of the night. We have Saiyan versus Husk. Two very interesting teams we see here. A lot of underused and pretty much not used at all Pokemon in here. What do you think of these two teams, Nibs?
I'm very interested to see what happens with this Mantike here. That's my first time seeing it in I don't know how long in a VGC match.
Yeah, no, Mantine with the Max Airstream and Swift Swim could potentially be decent. I'm not sure how much we're going to be seeing it when there's an opposing Lapras that has access to Max Lightning. Although there is a Regieleki here, which you would assume is offensive when it's put on a rain team. So
yeah, that Lapras also has access to Freeze Dry. Not sure if this one has it, but most Laprases recently have been using Blizzard, which is kind of, to me, a Lapras user, it's weird. But
yeah,
I've been seeing it kind of.
There's a lot of calcs where you definitely need that extra 10%, 10 BP on the max move. So it's super understandable on these Life Orb Laprases that are kind of popping up since really the middle of Series 5, I would say, becoming a lot more popular than the original Light Clay Lapras. But as we see here, it's Magnet Regieleki, something interesting, more of an offensive set than the traditional Light Clay Screens Regieleki we've been seeing since Players' Cup qualifying.
Very cool. We do see another Choice Band Urshifu as well. They've seemed to be super popular over the last, at least since Series 7 started, and even a little bit before then as well.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the Thundurus as the partner now, being able to max Knuckle and then also have the Choice Band, you pretty much guarantee KO a lot of things that are even resists. And the Choice Band plus the Max Knuckle gives you the KO on something like Max Defense Dusclops, whereas just the Choice Band or just the Max Knuckle boost is a roll to KO Max Defense Dusclops. So that is something to look to notice when you are team building. But as we see the Urshifu not come into this match is what it looks like.
Yeah, so what do you know about the Naganadel there?
I haven't seen Naganadel much in this format, only a couple times on ladder. I know it's usually Max Wormwind plus Max Ooze, generally nasty plot. You can have something in the last spot like a flying move, something like a fire move, or even protect. I didn't even know that's what Shiny Naganadel looks like. That's a pretty
really
incredible
cool,
hook.
Actually. Yeah.
So we
All right,
see
so the leads. The leads from Saiyan here are going to be the Regieleki and the Kartana, and on the other side, Husk is going to have the Lapras and the Naganadel.
So something to be super careful of here is that this Naganadel could be carrying a fire move, and this Kartana could be very threatened. It's very important to know whether or not the Kartana is threatened here, because if it is, you can't really max it. Otherwise, if it's not carrying a fire move, it's a pretty safe max, I would say. So it's going to be interesting to see what Saiyan does here, whether or not to make the risky play turn 1 or to kind of play it safe game 1 and do something different maybe game 2.
Yeah, so looks like our players have selected their moves for the start of this battle, and we do see the Love Ball from Husk there, so that's pretty cool. Must be the, I would assume the Lapras and the Love Ball. And it's going to be. Mm-hmm.
We do see the Lapras or Gigantamax, I'm sorry. And I mean, what do you think we're going to see the rest of this turn?
My guess is we're going to see a Max Resonance, and it looks like we're going to see a Protect from the Naganadel. Regieleki's just going to go for that Volt Switch into the Protect, so it's going to stay in. Sacred Sword comes out, targeting down that Lapras from the Kartana. It is going to activate that Weakness Policy, so that's a pretty good start off there from Husk with the +2 Max Resonance coming out from the Lapras. Targeting down that Regieleki, and that is going to be the end of the Regieleki there on the first turn.
Yeah, no, that was a pretty great first turn if you're Husk, getting a KO for maybe 35% of your max. Although, again, if this Kartana is not threatened by this Naganadel, it can do a lot of damage this upcoming turn to the Lapras, and the Lapras is pretty threatened by both Pokemon on the field here.
Yeah, so the good thing for Saiyan here is that he didn't use his Dynamax yet, so he is still going to be able to go ahead and do that this turn if he chooses to, or could even kind of wait out this this Lapras Dynamax. There's two turns left of that, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, looking like he's going to double target this Lapras this turn, sort of in order to kind of get the biggest threat off the field. The Naganadel hasn't really done anything. Potentially not that big of a threat, although, again, if it does have Flamethrower, this Kartana is kind of a sitting duck here. So,
Yeah.
we'll see what goes on.
So we are going to see the Dynamax come from Saiyan here.
Yeah, and I mean, do you think that Dynamax Nihilego here was the right play?
I think that it's not a bad idea because it's so especially bulky that it might not get one shot by this Lapras, but the Lapras is so boosted that I don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference. It might still just get that one shot.
Mm-hmm. And really, the combination of this Leaf Blade and Max Rockfall into this Lapras might just pick up the KO and put this Nihilego in a +1 special attack position where it can kind of run through the rest of the team as long as Urshifu's not in the back.
Yeah, so great play there from Saiyan, coming back from that turn 1 knockout with the loss of Regieleki. And as our chat often likes to say, Nihilego's going to get the Beast boost.
Yeah, Santos in chat. That's his calling card right there.
Where is it?
But I'm really interested to see. I guess as we know now, we see the Landers come out, and with that Landers generally being special, it's not as threatening to the Nihilego, even though it's 4 times weak, because Nihilego's special bulk is just incredibly high, and it could probably one-hit KO this Landers with the Max Rockfall if it so chooses. But we do now know that this, or can assume that this Naganadel does not have a fire move, making the Kartana much more free in a game 2.
Absolutely. So the just to be clear here, the Landorus in that form is Sand Force. Is that right?
It's either it can be Sand Force or Sheer Force.
Okay.
Generally, you see Sheer Force just because people think that's the stronger of the 2 abilities without Sand on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Although I would tend to argue that Sand Force might be better, given that Landorus really doesn't get access to its Sheer Force boost while it's in its Dynamax form.
Yeah, so we are going to see that Leaf Blade come out from the Kartana, targeting down that Landorus, does about half health. And then the Nihilego is going to get targeted down, bringing it down into the red. It is going to be a Rockfall coming from the Nihilego at +1. It is going to be more than enough to take out that Landorus. So big knockout there in the second turn. It is going to get another Beast boost, so it gets up to +2 special attack now.
Yeah, I know. And although at this point probably in range of like a Draco Meteor or any other dragon move from this Naganadel, it is important to know that at this point, if the Naganadel does have to go for Draco Meteor here, it cannot switch out, and it will be stuck at -2 for the rest of the match. And if it can't go for Draco Meteor, it might just go down to a Max Rockfall here. So we see the Max Guard is the idea right now, and also switching into the Politoed just to get the rain up to kind of protect this Kartana for 1 extra turn from this Incineroar. As we think, we can see probably the Kartana is going to be the end game here, being able to take out both of these Pokemon in the rain with a Helping Hand boost, combination of that and Politoed Scald. So it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out.
So we do see the Politoed coming out, and it does get the Drizzle, so the Sandstorm goes away. It is the Max Guard coming from the Nihilego on Saiyan's side of the field. Dragon Pulse comes out, targeting down. That Nihilego goes into the Max Guard. Flare Blitz actually comes out in the rain. It's going to target down the Politoed, and it does a mere 18 HP.
Yeah, at this point, this Politoed is in a pretty incredible position because if it can take out this Incineroar, then the Kartana is pretty free to go for whatever it wants. So that'll be the kind of the key here, preserving the Kartana in order to take out this Naganadel, and getting enough damage on this Incineroar to take it out before it can take out Kartana.
Yeah, so interesting to know that Naganadel base speed is 121, so that is very fast.
Yeah. Fun fact for those who did not know, every single Ultra Beast, every single one of its stats are all prime numbers. So and even I'm pretty sure they all have the exact same base stat total, which is also a prime number, if I'm correct. But I could be wrong on that part of it. But the main thing is that every single Ultra Beast has a prime number for each of its stats. which is very interesting. Another interesting thing we see here is that the Incineroar is actually faster than this Politoed, making it a lot more threatening, making the Kartana kind of forced to target the Incineroar this turn in order to not go down to a Flare Blitz plus an Air Slash.
Yeah, so what do you think about that damage that Incineroar just took there? Do you think that leads to potentially being an Assault Vest Incineroar? I mean, that was a Scald in the rain, didn't do that much damage.
It was rain boosted Scald, but at the same time it's -1 Scald behind Aurora Veil. So it's hard to tell which the damage output there with so many multipliers and damage reducers going on at the same time. But I have to say, we're getting to see a lot of like the really great shinies of the Pokemon franchise. the Politoed and the Naganadel both being shiny. Two pretty good ones. Luckily, we don't have to see any of the uglier ones. Well, I guess Incineroar is kind of ugly as a shiny, I would have to say.
So Incineroar just going for the fake out. Potentially Husk just timed out there.
Yeah.
Sludge Bombs, I believe that was Sludge Bomb came out and it targeted down the Politoed and it does knock it out.
Yeah, that critical hit really coming into play there based on how bulky we can assume the Politoed is. And the Sacred Sword doesn't even pick up the KO on this Incineroar. So it's looking like this game is pretty over.
Yeah, pretty back and forth to this point though. Yeah, both players have kind of been on the teeter-totter to this point, bringing it down to the last 3 Pokemon total on the field.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see the adjustments that either of these players make. Potentially, Husk wants to preserve the Lapras a little bit better instead of just getting one single attack off in Game 2, and Saiyan has to find out a way to get through this Naganadel quick enough to where the Kartana can outspeed and outdamage everything else on the field.
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, that might not have been a timeout from Husk, because if they went for anything that wasn't fake out, like a Flare Blitz or something, that would have killed the Incineroar in that situation.
Yeah, well, that is true. At the same, I mean, like you could just go for a Snarl. Even going for a Flare Blitz gets enough damage to where it's an Air Slash range the next turn. It really just came down to that critical hit from the Naganadel onto the Politoed picking up that KO, which otherwise probably would not have KO'd. Although it potentially could have. But we'll see what the adjustments here are. We see the Regieleki probably still going to be the lead based on what Saiyan is choosing. But, I mean, what do you think Husk does? Do you think Husk keeps it the same way, that winning last game, or kind of wants to change it up a bit?
I think Husk might want to change it up just a bit, not anything too drastic. I don't know how good this Landorus actually is against a team that threatens with mons like Kartana and a water combination like Mantine and Politoed and a Choice Banded Urshifu. I mean, if I see an Urshifu, I almost expect it to be Choice Banded at this point. And I believe a Choice Banded Urshifu is going to do a lot of damage to Landorus.
Yeah, no, that very well could be like the better choice in this game for Saiyan. And something actually I didn't realize until it was brought up in the chat is that Naganadel's base speed is actually the only Ultra Beast prime number, or Ultra Beast stat that's not a prime number. So I really brought that up at about the worst time I could.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, I'm like, sure,
and I was
121
like,
goes, like, numbers go into 121.
That is 11 squared, so... yeah, so forget what I said before. Except for everything else I said past that. That's all true. Just not the...
Naganadel is the exception. So not only was I going to be wrong about the Landorus not being the best spring, but it's actually going to be the lead this time around.
Also, is it 123? No, 123 is the divisible. 127 is the next prime number. They could have just boosted it up 6 stat points.
I don't think it would have changed a whole lot in the speed tiers. I don't think there's anything in between 121 and 128.
Is there? I don't know. There's a couple things at like 125.
So anyway, Saiyan is going to lead this time around with Regieleki and Nihilego, and Husk is going to lead with the Landorus and the Lapras.
Yeah.
Do you think that Husk just goes straight for the max resonance again on turn 1 here?
I think that'd be a pretty risky play, considering that both of these Pokemon threaten the Lapras for super effective damage and both are faster. We might just see like a Protect and an Earth Power. There's not really anything that can threaten the Landorus. We might actually even see the Landorus Dynamax, but we do see the Love Ball. So I would assume this is just the Lapras, like, once again, Dynamaxing.
It's never just the Lapras, Chase.
Yeah, no, we do see the Lapras Dynamax again. Maybe the right call here, considering that the Nihilego switched out.
Oh, and it is just going to be a max guard on the turn 1 here from the Lapras.
Yeah, as we see the Earth Power go into the Mantine slot. A pretty great turn 1 for Say, and wasting a turn of Dynamax for pretty much nothing. So it'll be...
Yeah, I guess Husk there may have been predicting, as you said, the double into, like with Regieleki going for like Volt Switch or any super effective attack into the Lapras, plus the potential Dynamax threat from the Nihilego there doing the Rockfall into it.
Mm-hmm. And although at this point it's saying if both Pokemon stay on the field, something like a Earth Power into the Regieleki and Max Lightning into this Mantine could potentially be very scary.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be really interesting to see here, like, what play that Saiyan chooses to go for.
Absolutely, and we do see the Dynamax here from Saiyan's side of the field. Let's see what it's going to be. I think it's the Mantine, actually. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in the chat we see that someone was asking, is the stream live? This is a live stream, and it is something that anyone can play in. But just !Discord, you can sign up. And, all right. We see Landers actually protect. As we see the Volt Switch into this Lapras, doing about half, but proccing the weakness policy as we saw last game. And this could be a pretty rough turn if this Lapras chooses to go for Max Lightning into this Mantine slot. We do see the Politoed come in, getting that dynamic speed for this Mantine, allowing it to attack before the Landers, if the Landers did so choose to attack, as we saw it did protect this turn. But we see the Max Geyser. This is probably going to do like 60% through Protect, I would guess. Yeah, somewhere around 60-65%. And let's see, do we see the Max Lightning? And there's just one turn of Dynamax, and that Mantine is gone.
Oh man, I'd say there's absolutely no living that. I wonder how many Mantines just died in that attack.
All the Mantines. It probably takes out like 7 Dynamax Mantines if I had to guess.
It has to.
Max Lightning.
4 times effective, absolutely.
Yeah, that's really rough. And the issue here is Saiyans kind of in a bad position now, whereas you can only take out the Lapras if you also lose your Regieleki to an Earth Power. Otherwise, the Lapras takes out the Politoed. So there's not really much that can be done here.
Yeah, so it looks like Saiyan is picking his moves pretty quickly there. Let's see if Husk is ready. Should just be another second. All right, and the Regieleki is actually going to go for a Protect this time around. And another Max Guard. So Sludge Bomb comes out from the Landorus, targeting down this Politoed. Does about 50% damage. Politoed in the rain, going to get the Scald off into the Landorus, and that is enough damage to get the knockout.
Yeah, so very rarely we see a Lapras Dynamax use 3 turns and not get a single Resonance up. It just Max Guard, Lightning, Max Guard.
Mega Charizard, thank you for the follow.
Yeah, thank you. We are currently in Game 2, if you just joined us here. Saiyan lost Game 1 to Husk, and in this point, both players have used their Dynamax. The Lapras Dynamax on one side, the Mantine on the other, and Urshifu has just come in. So, Ebenezer, thank you for the follow as well.
I like the nickname for the Urshifu here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good nickname.
It's just an angry face.
Honestly, all these nicknames are pretty impressive. Oh, Dread Mambo, also thank you for the follow. And GG's, I know we played in Hexacup earlier this week, so glad to see that you're out here on the stream.
What was that there? Was that a Sucker Punch that I just missed?
It looked like, I mean, I would assume based on the priorities it was Sucker Punch.
Yeah, so then the Thunder comes out from the Lapras following that Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Sucker Punch goes into the Regieleki and knocks it out, and then Thunder goes into the Politoed and KOs that. I think Saiyan's only hope here may be if it has, and it does not, the Sludge Wave.
Yeah, and even that's probably not enough to KO either of these Pokemon at current.
James VGC just gifted 5 subs. Thank you, Gemma.
Thank you so much, Gemma. So, it looks like our stream element spot is a little bit late on these follows and gift subs, so we might be behind a little bit there, but thank you so much, Gemma. So that will conclude our set here. Husk does win this 2-0. Both players played pretty well. It just seemed to be a really tough matchup with the Lapras not really being able to kill it without proccing its weakness policy first. And once that policy was procced, it just kind of took out one Pokemon a turn every time it attacked.
Yeah, that was really well fought by both players there, but it's kind of interesting seeing Naga. How do you say that again?
Naganadel. I don't know. That could be how it is.
Yeah, pretty cool seeing that Pokemon though. Wonder if we're gonna see it here in the next few battles or not.
I think as someone who has proprietary information, you being that someone, you might know what the answer is to that. So
I might.
I can't wait.
All right, so I guess right before we cut to our next battle, why don't we go ahead and explain what everybody in chat here is watching, in case you guys are new here, which it looks like some of you may be new here. What you were watching is actually Monday Night Friendlies, hosted by ATX VGC. So what we do is we commentate our community players' battles. So go ahead and ! Discord in order to find our Discord in the chat there. And what you want to do is join our Discord and then wait until Thursday at 11 a.m. through Sunday. I forget what time it ends. I think it's like noon or something. Chase, do you remember?
I think it's somewhere around there. 8 p.m. on Sunday, actually, I think.
So you have from 11 a.m. Thursday Central Standard Time until Sunday at 8 p.m. Central Standard to sign up for Monday Night Friendlies, and we schedule about up to five matches, best of 3 format. Currently Series 7. Depending on what's going on in the Pokemon world, sometimes we switch up the format.
Yeah.
Depending on what the players want.
And if you do play, every single game you play is recorded and put on YouTube, and your record is put up on the ATX website, which I'll put ! Website, and it keeps tracking all the people who have played, all the people who have won and lost, and you can compete for that top spot. I think Roller Coaster's in that top spot.
Oh yeah, and I don't think you just mentioned this. I think you just mentioned the website, right?
I did just mention the website,
yeah,
but also Xerxes830, thank you for the follow.
Yeah, thanks for the follow. But on top of that, all of these matches are also posted on YouTube.
Yes, they are posted. ! YouTube gets you to the YouTube. You can watch all the old matches, learn a thing or two from some of the games. If you just want some extra film to look over, you can review your own matches when they go up, and be excited to look out for the new ones that come out if you want to subscribe there.
And not only that, you can also see how we have progressed as commentators and players.
You can also see the progression of my hair from short buzz cut to whatever it is now.
And my beard too. Before I had no beard, and now I have big beard.